Never eat these 5 foods after 60 leg cramp triggers. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a sharp pain in your leg, feeling like the muscle was locked? Have you ever felt that sudden cramp while walking or even resting on the couch? What if you were told that certain common foods, which many people consume every day after 60, could be directly linked to this type of pain? Many people think cramps are just due to lack of stretching or not drinking enough water, but the truth is the problem might be coming from your plate. What seems like just muscle discomfort could actually be a clear sign that your body is reacting to dangerous dietary choices. And yes, there are at least 5 foods you should eliminate from your diet if you don't want to keep suffering from these annoying pains, and you'll learn all of them here. Based on scientific studies and guidance from experts in nutrition and aging health, you'll understand why some seemingly harmless foods can cause imbalances in minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Exactly the ones that keep your muscles functioning well. Stay tuned because food number 3 is a familiar presence in most households and could be silently sabotaging your health. Have you had a cramp recently? Where are you watching this video from? Write it here in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because it helps a lot and ensures you keep getting health tips like this. First, ultra-processed foods high in sodium. Ultra-processed foods are a silent trap on the plates of many people over 60. Processed meats like bacon, ham, and sausage, along with frozen meals and snacks, are loaded with sodium, preservatives, and additives that the body can no longer process as efficiently. Excess sodium doesn't just affect blood pressure, but it directly interferes with the balance of minerals that control muscle contraction. This means that convenient snack might be creating the perfect setup for a painful cramp in the middle of the night. Have you ever stopped to think how often your diet has more labels than real food? As we age, the kidneys lose part of their ability to filter excess sodium. And this is a serious problem because excess sodium drives away potassium, one of the essential minerals for muscle health. When this balance is disrupted, cramps appear as a warning. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that elderly people with diets high in ultra-processed foods have a higher incidence of nocturnal muscle spasms. Does avoiding that frozen dinner seem excessive? Well, swapping it for a simple homemade meal might be what your body has been asking for years. The approach doesn't have to be radical, but it needs to be mindful. Instead of relying on the convenience of a frozen lasagna or a bag of chips, try steaming vegetables with a drizzle of olive oil and herbs. Replacing sandwich ham with homemade seasoned shredded chicken already drastically reduces sodium intake. The same goes for ready-made seasonings and bouillon cubes. They're small hidden villains in the kitchen cupboard. And before we continue, I'd like to ask, do you usually read labels before buying your food? Comment below, you might discover something you never noticed. The most curious thing is that often people associate cramps with a lack of potassium, yet they keep consuming foods that drain this very nutrient. Drinking orange juice and eating bananas won't help if what's throwing everything off balance is the excess preservatives in your dinner. And this brings us to a second habit that many maintain without realizing it, and that may be sabotaging muscle health in an even more silent way. Number 2, sodas and sugary drinks. Sodas and sugary drinks are seen as harmless by many, especially when consumed only once in a while. But the problem is that this once in a while tends to be daily. These beverages overload the body with sugar and chemical additives that directly interfere with the absorption of minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. And these are precisely the minerals that help muscles relax and avoid spasms. When they are lacking, cramps appear sometimes out of nowhere, like a snap in the middle of the night. Moreover, the phosphorus present in many sodas, especially colas, disrupts calcium levels in the blood. This impacts both muscle health and bone density, 2 critical points for those over 60. Research from the Harvard School of Public Health reveals that frequent consumption of sweetened beverages is linked to muscle strength loss in older adults. Just 1 glass a day may be enough to trigger this effect. Have you noticed if the frequency of your cramps changes when you drink more soda? Boxed juices, sports drinks, and ready-made teas, although they may seem healthy, are full of hidden sugar and preservatives. These choices deceive and end up contributing to the same problem. Instead, a good option is to prepare natural teas at home, such as chamomile or fennel, or even use fruit slices in water for flavor. Want a challenge? Go 48 hours without soda or boxed juice and see how your body responds. The change in energy levels might surprise you. While many worry about salt, sugar often goes unnoticed, creating inflammation and affecting the body's electrolyte balance. The combination of sugar and dehydration is an open invitation for cramps. And the most ironic part is that this consumption tends to increase precisely during leisure moments, when the body should be resting. This leads us to another common habit, often present at parties, barbecues, or happy hours, which has an even more direct effect on muscle health. Number 3. Excessive alcohol. Many people believe that a glass of wine or a beer at the end of the day does no harm, especially after 60. The problem begins when this habit becomes frequent and exceeds the limit that the body can no longer metabolize as efficiently as before. Alcohol is diuretic, meaning it increases the loss of fluids and essential minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. And these are precisely the nutrients that help keep muscles relaxed. When they are in short supply, the body responds with spasms and sudden cramps. Additionally, alcohol interferes with the production of hormones that regulate fluid balance in the body. This can cause dehydration even if you're drinking water throughout the day. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Health showed that older adults who frequently consume alcohol are more likely to suffer from nocturnal muscle cramps. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a stiff and painful leg after a night of drinking? That's no coincidence. It's a direct response from your body. The impact goes beyond the muscles. Alcohol also affects the liver, which is responsible for metabolizing many essential nutrients for neuromuscular function. When the liver is overloaded, the absorption of these nutrients decreases. This means even if you are eating right, your body may not be taking full advantage of everything. An interesting alternative for those who like to socialize is to opt for mocktails, herb-infused waters, or even non-alcoholic wines. Have you tried any of these versions? The most dangerous part is that alcohol is often consumed in pleasant situations, such as dinners with friends or moments of relaxation, which can mask its negative effects. And since the impact is not immediate, many do not realize the connection between alcohol and cramps. But this connection exists and is stronger than one might think. And if alcohol already interferes in this way, imagine what happens when it is combined with another stimulant and dehydrating substance, very common at breakfast. Number 4. Excessive coffee. Coffee is part of the routine of millions of people, especially in the morning. But what few know is that, in excess, it can be a silent villain for those over 60. Caffeine has a diuretic effect, meaning it increases fluid loss and along with it, essential minerals for muscle health. When the body starts losing magnesium, potassium, and sodium more frequently, the likelihood of cramps increases considerably. And the most curious part is that this effect can happen even to those who do not realize they are dehydrated. Additionally, excessive coffee consumption can affect sleep, and poor sleep contributes to muscle weakening and a higher risk of spasms. Older people tend to have lighter and more fragmented sleep, which further aggravates the situation. Studies such as the one published in Sleep Medicine Reviews indicate that poor sleep quality is directly linked to the frequency of nocturnal cramps in the elderly. And before continuing, I would like to know, how many cups of coffee do you usually drink per day? Have you noticed if your cramps increase on days when you drink more? The problem is not the coffee itself, but the amount and the way it is consumed. Having 1 cup in the morning may even be beneficial, but 5 or 6 throughout the day, combined with energy drinks and caffeinated teas, keep the body in constant alert. This wears down the nervous and muscular systems. A good alternative is to alternate with caffeine-free teas, such as chamomile, mint, or fennel. And if you find it difficult to cut back, try reducing 1 cup per week until you find a healthy balance. It's easy to think that coffee is harmless because it's so present in daily life. But its impact on mineral balance can be as strong as that of alcohol or sugar. And what happens when the body is already suffering from nutrient loss and still receives large doses of refined glucose? This is the next critical point that many people ignore, even when the signs are already clear in the body. Number 5. Sweets and desserts. Store-bought cakes, donuts, filled cookies, and that slice of pie after dinner may seem like innocent acts of pleasure. But for those over 60, these sweet foods can represent a much bigger problem than imagined. Excessive refined sugar increases inflammation in the body, worsens blood circulation, and directly interferes with the transport of nutrients to the muscles. This means that even when a person is eating well, sugar may be blocking the absorption of what really matters. Have you noticed how cramps appear more frequently after periods of overindulging in sweets? Another important point is the impact of sugar on insulin levels. Frequent spikes in this hormone create an environment of metabolic imbalance that interferes with neuromuscular function. Studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition indicate that high blood sugar levels are related to increased muscle stiffness and a higher incidence of spasms. Additionally, daily consumption of sweets reduces the natural production of magnesium, which is essential for proper muscle function. Did you know that even breakfast cereal can contain more sugar than ice cream? Of course, cutting everything out at once isn't easy, but there are smart substitutions. Swapping processed cakes for baked fruits with cinnamon or using dates and ripe bananas as a base for homemade recipes can be a way to maintain flavor without overloading the body. Another tip is to check labels. Fat-free foods often compensate with high doses of sugar. Have you ever stopped to count how many times a week you consume ready-made desserts? This simple exercise can reveal patterns that are affecting your muscle health. The interesting thing is that many people experience tingling, contractions, or cramps and have no idea these signs are linked to their diet. The connection between sweets and muscle imbalances is still ignored by many, even as the body cries out for help. And when these signs accumulate with other habits, the risk only increases. But understanding this is the first step to reversing it. Now that you know all the foods that may be behind these pains, it's time to put the pieces together and figure out how to change this story. Now that you know the 5 foods that may be sabotaging your muscle health after 60, what will you do with this information? Will you keep repeating the same habits and wake up with that sharp pain in your leg in the middle of the night? Or will you start little by little, replacing what hurts with what truly nourishes? The most powerful thing about this journey isn't cutting everything out at once, but realizing what your body has been trying to show you for years. Every cramp, every discomfort, every restless night can be a warning. And when you decide to listen, everything starts to change. The simple act of swapping soda for a natural tea or reducing coffee already sets your body on a completely different path. The question that remains is, what else is stopping you from having more energy, more mobility, and less pain? Which of these foods do you frequently consume and plan to change starting today? Write it here in the comments, because your experience can help others going through the same situation. And if you have any questions about diet, health, or well-being, take the opportunity to ask as well. Oh, and of course, if this video helped you in any way, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's much more content coming that could transform the way you take care of your health. We're just getting started.